Is Deadshot gone from the squad? Aquaman 2 gets a release date, Shazam's tracking numbers, and how shared is the future of the DCEU? Oh, it's the OG squad right now!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC Movie News.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the
Apache
universe.
Chief!
Oh, it feels so good! We have the OG squad in the studio right now. Gertler's already on his feet.
Gremlin fire.
What? No,
Did I
that's
do
not.
it?
Nope, not a one.
Why?
You know, I just watched it, Johnny. When you were doing the intro, I realized I was on camera too, and I just was giving a blank stare to the camera. So I
At least
apologize.
it's better than knowing you're not on camera and being not in any shot. What shot is he
He's
in?
gonna fall down right now, and he's
Do
gonna
we
break
even
his ass.
have a camera that can get him?
No, not at all.
Not just got his dong.
Your head is next to his waist.
I'm gonna take a picture of what he looks like, and then we're gonna tweet it out for you guys, so you know what Adam's doing right
Yeah.
now. You do the show.
This
Adam.
is why you should watch on YouTube. You never know what's going to happen. Welcome, everyone, to the DC Movie News Show right here on the Popcorn Talk Network. We're at DC Movies SK on Twitter and Facebook.com/DC Movies SK. We have the OG squad here for the first time, I think, since 2016. I'm not really sure, but it feels great. I'm Johnny, right across the way there. He is the man from all over your television sets, FX Movie Download, amongst many other things. He's a first mocker for Doghouse Restaurants, Adam Gertler.
What's up? That was my homage to Apache Chief, who is
Oh, I
on
got
the
it.
Super Friends.
I got it.
He grow big,
I-
so I didn't know how to do grow big, except for getting on the chair.
I did a Super Friends thing too.
Well, I've tried to do Wonder
You did?
Twins with you many times.
No, I
you
did
said
Wonder,
you said something
yeah.
about
You're
Gremlins.
gremlins. You're like
Oh,
gremlin
no.
powers.
Yeah, I don't
activating,
know.
like-
Yeah,
I don't know.
Chat roll. If you're listening, chime in and remind me which DC comic the Gremlins joined the Justice League. I know it happened. I think it was like in '84.
No, you just told me it has to be alive.
Oh, but we weren't doing the Wonder Twins at that point. I abandoned you because you were such a bad Wonder Twin. That's why I became Apache Chief, and then now you decide to become a Gremlin? Like, you weren't even Wonder Twin powers
See,
activated.
now the Gremlin theme song is in my head for the rest of my life.
That's what's in your head?
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember that? She's too young to know it.
What do you
It's
mean I'm
true.
too young to know it?
When were you born?
Song.
I was born in 1991. When were
Yep,
you
too-
born?
Damn it.
Too young to remember.
When were
gremlins.
you born, Mike?
Much earlier than that.
A little closer to the mic, Mike. A little closer to the mic.
Little
How
too.
many years have you been doing this for?
How many years have I been doing what? This show? 4, 3. Trying to
Where's
get
the
my.
mic? Who's got the meat?
The gentleman next to me, he is one of the stars of the Schmodown. Recently had an incredible, very heavy Inner Geekdom Championship belt. I don't want to give away as to what
Yeah,
happened.
I think it
in the
drops
most-
today, so they'll find out if they want. I think it's
Yeah.
on YouTube today.
I
so
mean, we'll
check
find
it
out. But anyway,
yeah.
you know him as Mike Kalinowski.
What a crazy match.
Ah, man, it's up there for match of the year
Was
or,
it so
match of the
crazy?
Schmodown.
Match of the decade.
It was a.
Is this in public record already, or no?
No, you
it's-
can't say what
It's gonna
happened.
drop soon.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was one of my best matches, and
Was this in New York?
No, it was Collider last week. It was the first pay per view. It was the pay per view.
Oh, the live one.
Yeah,
Oh, behind the
Throwdown, Schmodown.
So, wait, not behind that label.
It dropped initially there.
Yeah, like patrons and like $4 if you
So
want to buy.
Some people know what
Oh
happened.
yeah, a lot of people.
So
know
it's
it.
out there.
It's out there.
But it's like, don't
But it's-
share.
Yes.
Don't
Because
share.
but
Otherwise
today
you
was
just
like
You don't
official.
want to
It's
say
on.
that Jon Snow died.
Right.
Yeah.
But go check it out today. Yeah,
spoiler.
it's a great.
So-
To me, I'll talk more about it later. But to me, that match, the behind the scenes, Christian, Mark, everyone involved, the cast crew, that to me epitomizes how great Schmodown can be. Competitors, what happened, the outcome, how everyone reacted, everything about it. That is the Schmodown to me.
And going live,
yeah.
that's a big deal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they handled it. They were professional champs.
So
was
check it
awesome.
out
was
on
awesome.
YouTube. I would assume this afternoon.
Yeah, it'll be out there, yeah,
So
it'll
party
drop.
on, man.
Cal L Fan 49 is pointing out no belt on site.
Well, it got a little pretentious wearing it all
Well,
the
yeah.
time here. I
Plus,
don't want to do it.
It
And I was running late
incredibly
today.
pretentious.
Plus, you can't give away what happened.
Well,
but-
I didn't want to. Yeah.
So-
Can you
actually,
ask the rest of us?
Yeah. And lastly but not least, the crown jewel of the show, she just put on some brand new poppin' lip gloss. You see her all the time on Collider, on Screen Junkies. I believe she was up for Manager of the Year in 2018, which
Thank
is
you so much.
which is funny because I don't.
And she's up for
don't
most
think you-
Instagram posts in a day.
I'm
Yeah.
only doing one a day.
Then why does your little thing at the top have like 35 little
the
dots.
Instagram story.
Yeah, there we go.
Who did you manage in 2018 besides DC Squad?
What do you mean?
Yeah, who did you
manage
manage?
I managed Snyder and Draco.
I did not.
I didn't see you at
that.
their match the other day. I'm sorry. Where were you?
Oh,
I didn't
you
see
mean
you.
after what Grace did to me?
I don't remember that, but we didn't see you. Their team needed you. And I didn't see you there.
You did see me.
That's not the best way to become manager of the year for 2019. Not showing up for your
You
team.
did actually see me. If
didn't.
you watched, then you did see me.
Well,
I
there
don't know
you
about
go.
that.
Follow her at Roxy Striar. She's a Roxy Striar.
I also have a DC exclusive for you guys today.
Oh, snaps.
From a friend of the show. I can't say which one, but they let me know something that was going down today.
What?
Insider scoop. My friend is doing props on Birds of Prey this week in downtown LA.
Oh.
They're building a carnival.
Oh.
So that is happening. Might be a fun for the show today.
Nice.
We're talking on set.
Paparazzi is probably going to...
Is that
Show
okay
up.
for you to say?
I asked.
She said it was okay for you
Yeah.
to say that?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking on set.
Don't mention you heard it from me.
They're building a carnival on set.
But you just literally mentioned you heard it from her.
I didn't say who I heard
Didn't say
it
who
from.
it was?
But you said the department you worked in. That doesn't, I mean, that
What do you
limits
mean?
it somewhat. You said she was working on props.
A friend. This person's friend.
This person's friend.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's
It's a friend of a friend.
What?
It's out there.
That's fine.
I think you're
Friend of
fine,
a
Roxy.
friend.
I think you're safe.
They said there's no cameras there, but that I was allowed to say that on air today.
So what you're saying is they're building a carnival on set.
I literally
Carnival
just read
on
word
set.
for word what just happened. So
I like that idea.
That's amazing.
You know who could be part
Look,
of
the
it?
four of us show up and we actually just spilled a bean?
we spilled a
Just
prop bean.
got a juicy little DC bean to give to everybody watching, everybody loyal to us?
We got good friends in high places.
You know who
That's amazing.
tends to be at carnivals? Guys who like to joke around. That's a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
And strong men.
That too. Bearded ladies. The whole deal.
Yep. Yeah.
Either way.
Also bearded men, but they're not as talked about.
no one
Are
cares.
you telling me? I mean, I could totally buy that Harley is trying to start over as a carny. I mean, what better line of work if she was going to try to go on the straight and narrow? Like, that's what I would do if I was her. She's like, that's her people.
Yep. I
Yeah.
dig that.
I
She
don't
breaks
know.
off from the Joker. Maybe she doesn't want to be a criminal anymore, you know? She's a carny. She's traveling around like you could be anonymous. I'm serious. I mean, it's like, I could see it as being
No
like-
joke. We saw the whole Carney thing go down on Gotham also, so...
Did you ever see the show Carnival?
No, I didn't.
From
Any
HBO?
good?
I did not.
That is my all-time favorite show that got canceled before they really gave you the follow-through. It is incredible. Carnival fans out there, unbelievable. But there is a beautiful gothic darkness to the idea of a carnival.
Yeah.
Done, you know, vis-a-vis the sort
Vis-a-vis.
of Batman ethos.
Clowns are terrifying too. So there you go.
I don't know. That's awesome. Sounds-
I'm just saying.
American Horror Story
DC
did a
Movie
carnival
News.
episode.
You heard it
Yeah,
here
that's
first.
great.
We
wow.
dropped it. There's
we're
a
gonna be
carnival.
you're gonna be reprinted somewhere tomorrow. I
And-
guarantee one of the comic
And
book
you're going to be
geek
sitting
websites.
next to me.
I will. That's as close as I'll get to the story.
Well, I guess we're going to be clipping this video out.
So I wonder what that looks like. I'm working on
That's
that
cool.
would be so cool.
Yeah.
Downtown, I feel like we should drive by.
This movie's really coming.
And they're not shooting in LA, are they?
I said downtown.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay.
DTLA.
Well, no, because they often shoot nowhere near LA for these kind of movies. So I'm kind of surprised by that. Good stuff.
Oh, there was a short trailer. I think they were saying there was some more footage. I think that did come out recently, pictures, and you might have been seeing that carnival in those pictures. Let me double check that. I think that is actually true. That yesterday I saw some new Birds of Prey pictures.
Oh, interesting.
That was your exclusive.
Well, we'll see.
Well,
Maybe
now,
it was exclusive.
apparently after this, a ton of paparazzi is going to make their way there.
Sure.
And that was Roxy Striar with your exclusive.
I
Birds
waited
of
until
Prey
we were
update.
on air to let you guys know, too.
That's exciting.
Because always Adam tells me to wait.
I love it.
I think see, and you see why that's so good to do. I was bowled over.
Hold the goal.
You blew my mind. Exactly. That's why
Mind
you hold
blown.
over.
Well, we got so much more gold to cover. First things first, Will Smith not going to be returning for Suicide Squad. Some people don't find this surprising whatsoever, but I guess it's been official. They're saying that it is conflicting schedules as to why he's not returning. And then, of course, the follow-up question is, will they be replacing Deadshot with another Deadshot?
I find this to be very strange and conflicting schedules. I think there's got to be more to that because if we're taking this like they were going to be the stars of the movie, maybe, but we were already speculating that Harley and maybe Will are going to pass the torch or something. I just feel like they could have been able to work around this. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. I don't think they'll be able to recast Deadshot. I don't think that.
that's the question: is will we still have Deadshot, just a different guy?
I don't think so, Mikey.
No,
No, what?
we're not going to cast him.
Do you think this is because of scheduling?
I absolutely do. Didn't they just say Rami Malek is now going to be in the Bond villain
yes.
because they said we can work around your iRobot schedule.
Yeah.
Will Smith's one of the most in-demand actors in the world.
Yeah.
Of course, like if they couldn't schedule him, he's not the lead. It's not Deadshot and the Suicide Squad.
Sure.
It is Suicide Squad, where these members are interchangeable. And that's the best thing about Suicide Squad. You can have an entire 7 new members. Waller's the only one you need.
I have one question. That's a great point. So this is the question. I really don't know the answer in this, and I'm really interested what people out there think. We've been kind of told and led to believe that the James Gunn version is a sort of reboot as far as a new direction, if not an out-and-out reboot, because we've talked about Margot Robbie. But Will Smith, I didn't know. So the script it started with, right? James Gunn wrote this script. We know that they're going into production this year based on this script.
The script is done yet, though.
No, well, no, we do, because originally we heard that he handed in the script and he was maybe going to be directing, and then the story was that he was going to be directing, presumably on this script. I'm sure it's still going through more iterations. That's not the point. But in that original script, here's my question. Was Deadshot a character? Is these stories, these rumors seem to me to sort of confirm that? Because before, I didn't even know, and I didn't think he needed him.
I think probably what happened is maybe on Todd Stashwick's script, he was coming off of, okay, we're coming a sequel to what we had. We're doing this. Gunn comes in, and maybe his script and has the ideas like the characters in the Suicide Squad. They're just not, hey, let's get these great characters and put them in a film. It's like what character, what powers are going to work best. So if Deadshot's a guy that shoots guns and he hits his target. If that's not visually as good as Gunn wants, or it doesn't fit his story, you can pick and choose the characters of the squad. It's not like the Justice League when you've got a set roster.
Sure. I agree with that.
You've got a rotating cast, and I think that's if Will Smith was like, hey, we're shooting now, well, he's like, I'm doing this. It's like, well, we got to go. So sorry, pal.
While
we'll get to the next one.
Deadshot is typically in that rotating cast because he is usually the leader. And going to the chat for a second, in case you guys don't know,
the chat is active right now.
Join Popcorn Talk on YouTube. You can join the chat every Friday.
Has a lot of opinions.
Every Friday at 1 p.m. You guys can be here live with us. Senior Nerd says conflicting schedule is Hollywood talk for asking for way too much money.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's the case, but possibly. Maybe. Nissan 2008 said Deadshot is usually the leader, but I say just recast.
Okay.
I don't know how you would go about trying to explain that. Kal-El fan agrees with you that Amanda Waller needs to stay for sure.
You just do it. Come on, Marvel's done it. You do it. You have to do it sometimes. You've had multiple Hulks. If you wanted to keep it consistent, you can just recast.
Well, Thunder God, Cairo770 says, replace him with Bronze Tiger or Deathstroke, problem solved. That's his opinion.
You don't, it's a non-problem, I think.
How are we going to replace him with Deathstroke?
But if they want a tactician with weapon skills.
But that's my question, though. Do you think that? So you think that Deadshot is a main character in James Gunn's script? Because now that means that's my question. It's like now he's going to
I don't think it was.
The script.
I think he said.
Well, I think you might be right, man.
So he was the main character in the last script. I want to distance myself from that movie. I want to keep the concept of the Suicide Squad. I don't need Deadshot as my lead.
Yeah, because actually, I don't feel like James Gunn would have written a script without some kind of confirmation of which characters at least might be in his playground.
And I don't think Will Smith is saying no to a Suicide Squad 2 with James Gunn. That looks good. I think Will Smith does want that movie, especially when he's about to get lambasted for this genie nonsense.
So you don't think that his shooting schedules either?
No, I think maybe he's not. I'm just spitballing here, but I think maybe he wasn't a character or a major character like you say.
You're saying Gunn wrote the script and they're going with Gunn and they said, all right, who's in your script? And they said, sorry, Will, you're not in.
I think if you've got the sandbox of the DC universe and you could pick and choose your oddballs, Deadshot is in that group was the most straightforward character.
Yeah.
I kind of liked him.
Gunn loves the oddballs. Gunn loves the oddballs.
I agree. This is a good point.
He wants a King Shark in there. He wants a Toy Man.
Listen to Mike Kalinowski right now laying it down.
And
like
that doesn't mean that Will Smith's out. I think that's just like, hey, Smith, you're still Deadshot. We're going to get to you. If you ever want to come back, if maybe Suicide Squad 3, if we ever appeared in the Batman.
Possible cameo?
Sure.
Sure.
Doom Tribe T says, I don't think Gunn wanted Will Smith Deadshot.
And that's not to say that Will Smith is out of the DCEU. You know?
Oh, I have a little bean I can spill. It's not really a bean, but so I was playing cards the other night with at my lawyer's
James
house.
Gunn?
No. Chunk, lawyer guy.
Okay.
But he's an entertainment lawyer, right? So
Why isn't Chunk my nickname?
so there was a dude there.
I'll give you that name. If you want me to call you Chunk, I'll call you
Thank
Chunk.
you.
There was a dude. Actually, he's our guy. My lawyer, his partner, just signed the deal for Jared Leto for the Morbius movie.
Oh.
Okay, and I kind of got out of them, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not too, but I think it's common knowledge. Leto is still under contract for more options with those if they want them, which means that Will Smith probably was too in a similar way. You know what I mean? Even though these guys are big stars, they have options. So if they want to make a sequel, they will make you do it. I think this is an optically good way to say we're going to make a Suicide Squad 2, but we're not going to slap Will Smith in the face because he's a big star.
Yeah.
And so you let it come out that Will Smith doesn't want to be in this movie, and you let him lead the story, and that's the right PR thing for Warner Brothers and Will Smith and everybody. But I think the real tale is that he was never even going to be a big part of this movie.
Sure.
Yeah, and you don't need to. There was never, and that's not to say he's not part of DCEU. He's not.
And it doesn't matter how.
Right, if you don't use Deadshot, then he could still show up
Right.
somewhere else.
And
That's why I don't think we should recast him. That's
No,
the
I think
mistake,
that's.
yeah.
I think the news came out that he wasn't in it, and then the recasting people were just feeding on it. They're going to recast. No, I don't think Deadshot's in this film.
And it doesn't matter how popular the characters are, because not to make the Guardians comparison, but look at Guardians. No one knew who those characters were, and now it's a massive hit thanks to James Gunn.
You
and
don't need
Michael.
it.
I
Right.
think that's.
And
Let the
I
story
like
do it.
Rob Jack's comment in the chat. Will Smith with James Gunn dialogue. Hard to imagine how that would sound.
Interesting. Well, you know, but here's the thing, though. We're also going to do a story in a little bit about how they're not worrying about interconnection so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Intergalactic planetary.
great song.
Good job.
you.
But yeah, Mikey's talking about how Gunn likes the weirdos. Yeah, you give me King Shark and I'll bring back Killer Croc. If
No,
you're gonna-
no, we
him
don't
and
need him. We
Shark?
don't need him again.
Come on,
We don't need Killer Croc
He looked
again.
amazing.
What,
Mikey doesn't need him.
Do you think they burned a good character there? Because I was excited for it, and I was very disappointed with the results
yeah,
of that.
I was disappointed
So
with
you
the
think they
results.
burned a good character?
I mean,
They
no,
burned it for
I
an
will say this.
Oscar.
I was 100% happy they went practical with him. Effects
Me too. I thought he looked good.
I think there's just something lost.
You guys are talking about King Shark?
we're talking about Killer Croc from
Oh,
Suicide
Killer
Yeah,
Croc,
there was
Killer
just
Croc.
something. And let me tell you something real quick. Back when I was doing some studying for the championship, I sat down for Suicide Squad again to watch it. And my girlfriend, who had never seen it,
Yeah.
doesn't know the history of the film or anything, she wanted to watch it with me. She enjoyed the hell out of it. She's like, this soundtrack
That's
is
why her and I are friends.
amazing.
Great soundtrack.
She's like, okay, this dancing chick, gotta go. There's a couple parts where she was like, all right, this is kind of, yeah, you don't need this. But she's like,
Did she know Cara Delevingne, or did she not even know the
didn't
actress?
know any of the
idea.
actors. But she was like, this soundtrack, man, I am on board this whole movie. She was just rocking out the whole movie, just enjoying it.
That
I'm like,
movie
well,
introduced
that's
me
why
to-
it made almost $800 million.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That movie-
And Venom, the same thing.
Yeah.
People enjoyed it.
So I was like,
I'm way behind, but that movie introduced me to 21 Pilots. Now I know who they are.
but
Yeah, me too.
but seeing it again with Killer Croc, I'm like, oh yeah, this just doesn't work for me. Anyway.
Okay, I know we have to
Why
move
did I
on,
think
but
gotta
there were
move on.
31 pilots? It's only 21?
As far as I know, they
the
subtracted
name of
10, and they ended up with 21 pilots. Yeah.
Got it.
Either way, though, I think King Shark is pretty much
King
almost
Shark would be a
guaranteed.
phenomenal addition.
I think it's a guarantee we're going to get
very
King
good.
Shark in
What
this
about
one for sure.
And what about a Clayface? Is that in the realm?
God, I wish. Please.
I don't
You think so?
I don't think it's
No.
Suicide Squad 2.
No, I think we're gonna get like a Bronze Tiger.
But you would like a Clayface? You think that would be good?
I want Clayface in the Batman.
Yeah,
I want
me
him
too.
in. I want to fully realize Clayface.
That would be pretty dope.
Anyway.
Well, speaking of Suicide Squad, it is going to begin filming probably in the fall. That's what we're looking like, even though the release date's not till August 6, 2021. But Gunn apparently wants to start filming in Atlanta in September, is what they're saying.
This is also when Batman is scheduled to start filming, correct?
This
End of this year?
Later this year.
Well, those
this
two
year.
movies are coming out the same year, so
Yeah.
yeah, they got to start filming.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right.
Especially if you're doing a King Shark, you need the VFX for that.
Well, the reason I'm saying it is because remember in Suicide Squad 1, it was a huge breaking story when we heard that Batman was going to be making an appearance
cameo,
there.
yeah.
So I wonder if.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think
But
so
don't be
either.
surprised though if we're going to see release date. Right now, Batman is June 21st, 2021. That's I don't think 6 weeks. They're going to spread that out. I don't see those being released on those 2 dates between Batman and Suicide Squad. Just my opinion.
What is the current release date for Suicide Squad 2?
August 6th, 2021.
Oh, they'll keep that. A June and an August. Yeah.
They've
think
got,
so?
they've got that on
Beginning,
lock.
middle of summer,
Yeah,
end of
they'll-
summer.
They'll
Yeah.
break summer's box
That's
office.
what
keep
Marvel's been doing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the,
Yeah,
the
it
two
has.
Marvel places.
They got 3 Marvel
Well,
movies in like
they're a
5
little
months
earlier
coming
than
up.
that.
Yeah, Marvel's been doing like
April, May,
March,
and then
April.
And
Yeah, but they're
April
doing
and
March and April this year. They're,
And then
they're
July.
So front-loaded.
They're-
Yeah.
Oof, that's going to be something.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's why DC's like, all right, we're going to slide in. There's going to be
Slide
dust
in their
settling.
DMs.
Yeah.
Skip on in there.
So here's some we talk about dropping beans. The CEO of Warner Brothers Entertainment, Kevin Tsujihara, said a lot of things this week about the DC Universe and the future of it, basically kind of saying that the whole shared universe is going to be put on the back burner a bit, but he does say, we're just focusing on really good standalone movies, and the plans are to correct Superman in a way, is kind of what he was saying. We have a bunch of quotes here, which we can get to, but Mikey's pondering. I see this pondering brain of Mikey right now. What are your thoughts on what Tsujihara said?
I think this is what I don't know if we've been saying this. Roxy, are you a fan of the connected? I'm trying to think of who we were talking, because it's been so long. I think this is what I was saying for the longest time. Like, don't focus on movie A, movie B, movie C focuses to movie D. Just do your own film. Do your own film. And like we talked about this last time, like the one line in Aquaman, you beat Steppenwolf. Mm-hmm. That's all you needed to do, saying this is in the same world. Because remember there was that one time where people were like, oh, they're not connecting universe, so they're going to be separate films. And they were taking that comment that they were saying is like, they're going to be like the Nolan films and then, that film. No, they're all connected. It's just not a Marvel build to a final end.
You know what it's more like now? It is more like there is a DC Films imprint that is forming solid and has a strong leadership at Warner Brothers. And within that imprint, much like how DC Comics works with Vertigo and Elseworlds and anything like that, that's what they're allowing to do. We know Joker is a sort of Elseworld story. Even though the story might be canonical, I wouldn't expect a direct character reference to any of the other films we've seen, but it is in the same imprint. Not so much like... like it would just be, you get a couple of Nolan movies here, you get a couple of Superman movies here. No, now there are people that are constructing how we release DC movies in a very organized manner.
It's funny you say that. So, Roxy, I'm going to give a quote and get your thoughts. He does say, we have the right people in the right jobs working on it. It's not as connected as we thought it was going to be 5 years ago. You're going to see more focus on individual experiences around individual characters. That's not to say we won't come back to a more connected universe, but it feels like that's the right strategy for us now.
It makes perfect sense to me because I think that why Justice League, and I can't say that it failed because it absolutely did not fail, but why Justice League did not have the critical success that people were hoping it would is because it was too soon.
Yes.
We didn't have these other stories, and we tried to do what Mikey called A to B to C to lead to D, and that's why we suffered. We still hadn't had a Batman movie. We hadn't had the base of, we hadn't had Aquaman then. We still haven't had a Flash movie. Shazam hasn't come out yet. Not that he was in Justice League, but maybe down the line. We haven't touched Green Lantern, so I think that let's hit singles. Let's kick butt on them. And I saw this coming with another news story we're going to talk about in a little bit, but the fact that Aquaman, the second one, isn't going to be for 4 years after 4 years after the Aquaman first one is going to be, that means that obviously they're not trying to do like, okay, we're doing all of these ones before we can get to something else. They're taking their time on things. They want these scripts to be good. They want to make sure that they're putting together something that works. And then this is not them saying, we will never do another Justice League.
Sure.
This is not them saying that. Let's see how it goes.
To be fair, we kind of called this way back when Justice League came out. We said this has Warner Brothers' hands all over it. They're really looks like they're rushing it. And of course, Zack Snyder has confirmed that he didn't want to do Justice League right away.
Here's an interesting comment from Thunder God Kiero.
Raiden's in the chat?
Oh, Raiden's in the chat?
Thunder God?
Probably, okay. Sure. Or it could be... Thor as well.
I think of Raiden when I think of Thunder God.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Form of chloroform kit.
Okay, so he says. So what is? What does it mean? No, you can't be a chloroform kit. That's not. That's not even. That's dark. That's dark, Roxy. So he says, what does it mean for Batgirl though? It would be odd for it to have a connection to Birds of Prey. It would be odd for it to have no connection to Birds of Prey and possibly Batman. What does that mean? Oh, because we don't have a confirmed Batgirl film anytime.
Well, remember we did with Joss Whedon.
I think Batgirl's done.
Yeah, you're talking about a Batgirl film. I got news for you. Batgirl is not coming out before Matt Reeves'
I'll say
Batman.
a couple things on that. I think Batgirl and Nightwing are done.
They're certainly not coming out before Batman.
What do you think about Supergirl?
Done. For now. I would say until the confirmed
Supergirl before Superman, though. I think Supergirl before Superman a movie.
I don't...
Oh, I love this. We're making early calls early in the year.
We've got, 8 confirmed films, right?
Because
we had the slate last time.
We had it.
I think
it's in that article.
Films.
He's got like
everything. 8 confirmed films.
Right.
So that Nightwing
Flash,
thing,
not a confirmed film.
Not a confirmed. We'll get to the little bit of Flash talk.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I'm disappointed in a Nightwing talk, but
it makes total sense to me.
You can't do a Nightwing unless you know your Batman.
You got to get back to your Batman.
Yeah.
You can't say Ben Affleck leaves, you're in a Batman vacuum, and now here's other Bat people. I don't think that works.
I think that Nightwing and that Batgirl were the throwing scripts at the wall after Justice League when they didn't know what they were doing.
Spaghetti.
I think now they know what they're doing. They've got
what a
their
waste of
slate. They're
spaghetti.
focusing on getting those films done. Then we'll get to that stuff.
Yeah, can't be throwing carbs at the wall. Come on.
Yeah.
And
so that's my thoughts.
He did say he wants to make sure they get Superman correct. That was one thing he said, so we'll see how long that takes.
Interesting from Josh Herrera, in the chat says,
Hey, Josh.
Rumor has it Batgirl could show up on Titan Season 2. Which is interesting because we know sometimes when they move over to the TV universe, that means that the movie universe
sometimes
is not.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes
but
it does.
sometimes it sure does.
Yeah.
That is telling.
Well, you mentioned Shazam just a few minutes ago. According to a new report from Box Office Pro, the upcoming film is scheduled to make $48 million domestically in its opening weekend, and also those projections suggest that the film will make $144 million worldwide. I gotta say, I think way
its opening
more
weekend.
Worldwide, yeah, opening weekend, sure.
144 worldwide opening weekend.
The article doesn't make it seem. I thought the same thing, but it doesn't read right.
No,
right?
you're
it
like
says
only 48 million.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
That's ridiculous. What?
144 worldwide opening weekend.
I gotta say, I think
So
it's
it
gonna
looks
be
good.
higher than 48.
So it's always
domestically.
weird because
For the opening weekend, Johnny?
Yeah, I do think so.
144 is high, but we're coming off of Aquaman. We're coming off of a phenomenal. And Aquaman did what, 95 or 85? But it opened against Bumblebee and Mary Poppins. But then it
And it was like
past them.
100 something for the 5-day weekend. It was a holiday weekend.
If
and
it
then just
had not
legs.
opened with those two, it would have dominated easy 150.
Then it had fins.
I think
It
we
had
could do
fins and went.
60 domestically.
Opening weekend was $68 million.
For Aquaman?
Yes.
Just domestically.
That's what it looks
I
like.
think we could almost hit 60. And I could be off, but let me say that I think that
Please say.
Zachary Levi, and I know this isn't in our rundown, but just taking a minute to make sure you guys all saw this.
I did.
What Zachary Levi is doing regarding Captain Marvel and what's going on over
know.
there is awesome.
What's he doing?
He's just being real positive.
Real positive. There has been a lot of hate on Captain Marvel, on Brie Larson, on which Shazam, which Captain Marvel they're going to see because of the whatever it is. And he took to some live streaming service, I don't remember which one I saw it on, and just basically said, like, do you guys think you're helping us? Because Warner Brothers doesn't want your help by not seeing their movie. Shazam doesn't want, go see both, support both. This doesn't make any sense. And he got a lot of backlash for that, but I think that actually brought a lot of really good PR
Agreed.
to Shazam. I think that everything people have seen from the trailers to the teasers has been really good PR for Shazam. And with coming off of Aquaman, people are stoked about these DC films.
Right.
The buzz is hot.
Yeah, there was a lot of that coming off of kind of negative, the fanboy stuff against Brie for what she had said about the press, and her comments. If you are not one of those, raucous fanboys, you realize, like, I know exactly what she's saying. She's not. Nothing's wrong with what she said. She has an absolute right point. But to that fandom, the Less Jedi fandom, that toxic, just terrible corner of this fandom, they took that and they ran with it, and then now Zach hopefully is stepping in and kind of going, this is...
And good for Zachary Levi for preaching the positivity. There should be. As a matter of fact, why don't we try to get him as a guest on the show? Should we try?
Yeah, we should try.
Should we
Smash
say
or
something
two.
to him right now and we'll send the video to him? I think he'll watch it.
He's supposedly the best.
I've heard he's...
Anybody I've heard who's
If you've
worked
ever
with
seen him
him
at Comic-Con, he's
has said
awesome.
I
the
said
most
I worked with him
amazing
on
guy.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Well, then
He wouldn't remember me, but
you
I did.
text him then.
I did work with him on Chuck.
There you go.
Let's
Send that
yeah.
out there.
Yeah, let's not try to publicly shaming him into joining us. I think let's
No.
reach out to him privately.
No.
I think that's a better way.
I disagree. I think this will work.
I think that could be annoying to people. Just saying, like when you have a lot of people saying,
You
maybe
guys at home, feel free to tweet at him if you want to see him on the show.
yeah, if you
tweet
want
at
to see him on the show. I personally just don't feel comfortable like sliding into him and be like, come on our show, please. Like let's just let's try to do it an adult way. I think we might have
You wanna be
another
adults?
access. I'm just saying.
I love it.
I hate adulting.
Well, Aquaman 2, December
What's going on
16th,
with your face?
2020.
I got something in my eye. I'm sorry.
He's
Am I having a stroke?
I don't know. I didn't know.
Can you feel the left side of your face?
I had something in my eye.
Okay.
I was trying to wink at you, but you ruined it on camera.
That's
Jesus,
not what
Roxy.
happened. Johnny, continue.
Oh, also, is it Shazam or Shazam?
Or is it Shazam? Or is it Shazam? Is it
I think the second one you had was closer.
Shazam?
Yeah, I
Not-
think that works.
Shazam?
I think the accent's on the Z.
It's the Foo Fighters.
It's just that you have to
Shazam.
include the exclamation
Shazam.
point. Oh, we're running
I
out
like
of
that.
time, guys.
Shazam.
We're having too much
All
fun
right.
with the four
December
of us.
16th, 2022. That is the tentative release date for Aquaman Dose, y'all.
I was both surprised and excited to hear this.
Why surprised?
Surprised because it's 4 years, and
A lot of visual effects.
and that's a long time after the original.
Don't rush perfection.
Did I say I was excited?
I'm gonna let you finish.
I said I was surprised and excited.
For a change.
Yeah. And why excited? Why excited?
I'm excited because we're giving him the time that he needs to create a good movie.
It's almost gonna be over 3 years for Wonder Woman, so you know.
It sounds like
Four's a lot.
It sounds like they're giving James Wan time because he's going to do another film.
And The Trench?
At least.
producing
He's probably
that.
producing The Trench.
Or producing it, so.
Right? And probably another one of his own films.
Yeah.
And I think that even though this film did so great, like, let the appetite get there again, too. You're going to have, like, a couple of Avatar films that are also coming out in that time. You got Avatar in 20 and
Wasn't
21.
That was the reason for
And
the
that's-
date. It was like there's gonna be a Star Wars film, they think, and there's gonna be Avatar during what could have been Aquaman. And like, nope, stay away. Just let them do it.
This Avatar thing is big underwater too. Cameron was just out, kind of like talking about Aquaman, kind of throwing shade, but kind of also.
And we're gonna have DC films in that time, so
Yeah.
it'll make.
I think it's great. I mean, man, make the
Think about
appetite
like Wonder
grow
Woman.
for
It's
it.
gonna be over 3 years since we last, saw her solo film. That film's gonna do.
I
that'll
love
do a
this.
billion.
Yeah, I'm
It'll do a
liking
billion.
DC saying like, you're not getting the sequel in 2 years. It's not cranking it out.
They
Not Crank
did
Factory.
actually release the tagline for Aquaman 2.
Oh, really?
I didn't hear this. What
Oh,
was
here
it?
we go.
Aquaman 2, wetter than last time.
That's official.
According to me, yes.
Okay.
I would
Well,
have said, "Let's get wet again."
see what a little punch up can do. Okay.
What
I'm a
Aquaman
script
2.
rewriter.
What does wetter than how do you get wetter than the ocean?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
That would
Let's just
be
get wet again.
That
'cause
would
we
be
got
what's
wet last
That's
time.
why it's
Now
a
we're getting wet
tagline.
again.
pulls
Yeah.
you in, Rox.
Right.
You
Because
gotta find
just
out.
because of the way that blew your brain up.
Yeah.
See?
That's what gets you in there.
Wetter?
Boom!
Move on.
We're creating here. Birds of Prey photos are released this week.
Too
or more.
wet or
Okay,
not
so-
too wet?
See, thank you.
So to bring it back to our other story before, these were the Birds of Prey photos I was referring to. Roxy, earlier in the show, if you're just joining us now, which would be weird if it was a pre-recorded thing, Roxy talked about the fact that this movie has featured a fully rendered carnival set. And these photos do not show that. So Roxy dropped a scoop.
Yeah, that's
Dropped a beam.
interesting.
She scooped it.
Because if they're doing a DTLA, I mean, that's got to be a whole big scale.
That's downtown LA for anyone that didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Which not a lot of space in downtown LA. So
Oh,
very
they got a
interesting.
lot
They
of
got a
areas,
ton
though.
of warehouse space. They got a ton. Are you kidding?
Well, warehouse space, sure. Not so much outside, but yeah.
We're getting good pitches in the chat for what
I just
the
have to say
tagline
this
should
one.
be.
Gilbert, Aquaman 2, White Wedding. Wetting with two T's, as in a wedding stone.
And
I
you-
like Dante's in the chat. Moetta.
Moetta. Well,
Mo water, mo problems.
yeah, these are
There
great.
could be
See,
Mo water, mo problems.
See, for reals. You know
Yeah.
it's going to be.
We don't know.
So all that good stuff happening. Yeah, Birds of Prey. So we already showed there. Boom. Did you guys read this comicbookmovie.com? The idea of possibly 4 villains in the Batman, including
We've
Penguin.
been talking about this for a couple of months now, that there might not just be that one villain scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But this, with the 4, how did you guys feel about that?
what I think, I don't know where they're getting the idea for. I don't think they're inferring it from things that Matt Reeves said. I know that there's certainly no official thing like that, but the fact that it's going to be a noir-driven detective story, and I know you just watched True Detective, but I kept thinking about...
Shout out to Ray Fisher, our boy, by the way.
Oh my God, DC
Yeah.
Connection. He killed it on that. That was so great to see him, by the way.
Cyborg in the house.
Former guest of the show, just crushed it on season 3. But anyway, the point was like, that's a real detective story. That show is built up around making you go different places.
Right.
And so I tried to think of that in terms of a Batman thing. And so I think you would come across these other shady characters and enemies of his to get
It's in the
information
world.
here, because he's in the world. He's trying to find this thing that ultimately is not going to be where you expect it to go, which is exciting because it made me think in terms of this movie as not being like any other superhero movie we've really seen where you can predict the structure. It's if you really make a noir-driven detective, and if you look at what that means in the history of cinema, I'm so excited for what that can be.
And funny,
Totally
the quote
with
here
you.
from Forbes Mark Hughes says, "The Batman is peppered with multiple villains, not just one or two. I know about 3 of them for sure, plus others are filling in." And you're right, as a detective, you're running across many, many shady characters, especially in Gotham, which is full of shady characters.
Running down leads.
And it was coming from Batman on Film, actually, that said there are at least 4. So that's where the number
Dude.
4 is coming from.
So on.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Are you kidding me with that?
No.
Good.
What do you think, Mike?
I think it's perfect. I mean, if you've ever read a Batman comic, you know that.
You're excited about this
but
movie,
but
aren't
we're
you?
going to get the too many Batman villains. It's going back to the way of Joel Schumacher.
Don't
It's
let it
like-
get you down. I just
I'm
want to
not
know.
gonna get me down.
You're
I'm just-
excited about it.
I'm trying
though,
to tell
right?
people, temper when you hear that. It doesn't mean that every villain's going to be the lead and they're all going to be fighting for screen time. It's like you might have one scene of like I talked to Coy on Collider Heroes about this. Like the Penguin is a supporting character in the Batman universe. He doesn't need to be your main villain. You have Batman drop off the iceberg lounge one time to rough him up for some answers. You have him go to Gotham. You have him ask the Riddler something. You know, he doesn't need to be the main villain. That's what you need. That's what it is.
That is what Hush is like too, isn't it? Isn't that kind of how?
And
It's
like,
like you just need-
villains dime each other out. That's what happens.
In a movie, in the Batman story, his villains are his supporting cast. You know, and I think they don't need to be the focus, which is great.
a lot
and
of
I
the
think
best.
that's what Matt Reeves knows.
A
He
lot of my
understands it.
favorite Batman arcs when I was reading in like the mid to late '90s or that era that I really read a lot. A lot of them were nice, long, drawn out stories that involved lots of different characters and going all over. You know, like whether it's like the 4
I mean,
clay
look
faces.
At, look at was it Long Halloween?
Yeah, Long Halloween.
You know, the Calendar Man and Albert Falcone. It's like, yeah, almost every villain was in that. You know, but they weren't the focal point.
Yeah,
so I think that's great.
I think it's exciting to try to think about something that's not just like an action film based version of Batman.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on board.
Anyway.
Well, moving on, there might be a little bit of life for the Flash film. Ezra Miller talked about it this past weekend. He did say that there's a current plan for the film to involve the introduction of a speedster multiverse. Now, I don't know, I can't imagine this is anytime soon, but he was still being very positive about the possibility of the... and you got to believe if we're focusing on solo standalone films, you got to think the Flash is going to have to get one.
Can I just say, as a massive fan of the CW shows,
You are.
Sure.
keep taking everything else out of this. Push everything else aside, the shared universe, anything else. If we had a speedster multiverse in which Grant Gustin made a brief appearance on the big screen,
You would lose your
my little
hoops.
heart would flutter so fast. Like, I would just die. I would just die. And there is a way to make that make sense, but
If there's one character, that's the character that can make
it's
sense.
the character. I would be. I don't need to see our Wally West, and I don't need to see our Jesse Quick, and I don't need to see. Although actually, it would be kind of cool to see some of the other ones. But
John Wesley
John
Shipp.
Wesley Shipp would
Oh,
be
boy.
so cool.
Yes.
Everyone lost, even though it was so underutilized in the Crisis where he was in the suit for.
So underutilized. They
You're
could just get one shot to make it work.
We went nuts when he was in that suit. It's like,
I love
But
it.
it's still, if we could find a
But
way.
I'll say this.
Oh, my geek
knowing
heart just
Ezra Miller, I don't.
trust anything that he's
No,
like, that
no,
he has
no,
the
no.
information.
I don't know if I could do a whole movie with him as Barry Allen, with him at the focal point, the main dialogue driver.
I really feel the exact same.
I don't
May
know if
I-
I
may I
knowing
go on
in
record?
in the short bursts in Justice League and seeing him bounce off everyone. Yes, but what they've done with that personality, I don't know if I could do a whole movie with him
I feel the
driving.
exact same.
And he's not a talent. I think he's a very talented actor.
What about a him and Cyborg film?
That I'm much more on board with.
me too.
Because Ray is so grounded as Cyborg. He's
Yeah.
so grounded, and I,
I will
love
say,
it.
I will say this. I believe, just as like we said very early on, that I thought Affleck was gone. I don't think you're going to see that movie happen. I think that they're
I'm
going to do
more
a
and more
Flash.
with you.
I think it's going to be down the line, maybe 22, 23, and I don't see him in this role. I've just never. I've
Let me
always
ask you
been
this.
bothered by
Let
it.
me ask
something
you this.
something about me thinks it's not going to happen.
Just
too.
a light bulb went off for you for that. What if they went and down the line we got Wally West?
I think,
But it was in the vein of Barry Allen, where he's the
Why
classic.
is Wally your Flash?
Well, no, I'm saying like Ezra was more of a Wally, or even a Bart Allen. He wasn't the classic Barry Allen.
right.
So they've already used the name Barry Allen in this DC world. But what if they did? You know what? Let's just do Wally West.
I think
and we're
much
just
like
gonna
an
go.
Ant-Man situation, that's a way to go.
Yes, so it's not Hank Pym. It's
Right.
Scott Lang. Yes.
I feel like they're going to use an African American lead in the Flash character.
I could see that.
because there's a lot of talk of whether they're going to do that with Superman or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do think like a big character that people know, and I think with Green Lantern too. But I think Flash is going to happen before Green Lantern. I have a feeling an African American is going to be cast as the lead of the Flash. I think making me, Wally West is a great call.
I agree with that. I think Barry Allen is. I think Ezra Miller and Barry Allen. I think the timer it's coming to an end.
I think it's going to happen.
Well, last thing before we get to TV time, concept art was released this past week of a pilot from Apocalypse that was supposed to originally appear in Justice League. It did not, but my God, is it awesome. We just wanted to show a couple of these photos. Gerard S. Marantz is the artist and released these photos. And no one knows if it was taken before or after Zack Snyder left, as far as
that looks like Snyder stuff.
Yeah,
that's Snyder stuff.
100% looks like a Snyder vision.
Because his whole art, the art of the Justice League book, is really filled with some awesome, like, parademon, just amazing stuff.
This looks bazonkers,
right?
Like out of this world. Legit.
Like that is a.
If you guys aren't,
to see
if
those
you're
people
listening,
that have read those scripts and seen those storyboards for his 5-arc Justice League plan. Or his 5-arc DC plan. I would kill to see all that.
I don't even know how I describe this to our listeners right now. Go check it out.
The overview sounded amazing.
I said the same thing when you were gone. I said his whole 5-part.
It was a 5 standalone, not part of a DC EU spinoff. It was its own self-contained. That's almost like, hey, DC, talk to him, write that as a comic. Do that as a comic. Do a big hardcover absolute edition, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and
Speaking
let
of Zack
him go.
Snyder, shout out, I saw this earlier today also, happy birthday to him.
It is! It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
March
a lot of people
1.
in the chat roll disagree with us, really like Ezra, and think he is going to get the
People
chance.
loved Ezra. A lot of people, it was their favorite part of their movie. Just not for me. And I love Ezra and other things, and Perks of Being a Wallflower in the Harry Potter franchise.
I like him as a person watching him in Comic-Con and stuff. His energy as a person, I'm just like,
agree.
you are like a great
But you know
guy.
what else people
Definitely.
love?
What?
People love TV time.
That's
my
true.
goodness.
That's
We do.
true. Especially Roxy does.
Yeah. No doubt. Hey, there we go.
It's time for
I can't believe we made it. I thought for sure we were going to run out of time before we got to TV time. I was trying to stretch it out so we didn't get to...
We're not even going to get to all the things I want to talk about.
Can we talk about that one big one, though, that just happened?
And now the floor is yours, Roxy Striar.
Which big one do you want to start with? Because we might run out of things. Are you talking about the Superboy?
Even bigger than that, to me.
What?
You're wasting time, Roxy.
Oh, I'm not wasting time. I'm having a conversation. Constantine, Adam, this is the thing that you're probably
He
the
will
most
not
excited
go
about.
away, Constantine.
No, there's a series that's in talks at Warner Brothers right now. Constantine right now,
What do
just
you
so you
think?
guys know, if you've been watching on Legends of Tomorrow, he's kind of become this series regular. I actually think he is a series regular for next season. But hashtag Save Constantine was such a massive thing. Now possibly he could get his own series back again. How are you feeling?
I just never was on board with the character.
Okay.
But it's not anything with the actor or anything. I'm just not on board with the character.
not-
I'm
not
just
your
like,
guy.
if they're going to go mystical, I want, like, the demon. Do Jason Blood and Zatanna.
I like this character. I've never liked it as much as I liked it on his NBC show, and I don't watch a lot of NBC dramas. So the big question posed right now is, like, could we possibly get this on the DC streaming service as opposed to WCW? And I got to say, even though I love him in the role, I'm really only interested if it's a streaming service show.
Because then they can go as dark as you want it to
Yes,
go.
because they just did the animated series, which they tested with him playing it, and it is an R-rated animated series. So,
Did you see Doom Patrol?
yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. You're wasting time.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's go with some more casting news. Titans, speaking of the streaming service, Kat, it's Superboy. He's a little smaller than the back of what we saw.
Is he smaller than
initially in the-
Cyborg on Doom Patrol?
No, but we can talk about that too. Although he's doing a good job with the cockiness. Joshua Orphan is actually cast to play Connor Kent, aka Superboy, and boy, does he have those baby blues. I think he's an Aussie actor, and I don't know him from much, but he's got to have blown them away in the audition process if he's going to be their very own Superboy. People are excited about this, especially Titans fans out there. Amy Smart. This is an interesting casting for Stargirl. The more I hear about Stargirl, the more excited I am. I'm also a very large Amy Smart fan.
Yeah.
Well, look, that got Johnny's ears to even perk up.
Well, of course. Amy Smart's been, she's been around a long time. I remember her mostly from Road Trip. But, she's done a zillion things. Also, Butterfly Effect. She was in that with Ashton Kutcher, and that was a very...
I still think of her in Rat Race. That's
Same here, Rox.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah.
I'm weaning.
Wasn't she
And that state
Ryan Reynolds' girlfriend in the movie where he lost a lot of weight, and Just Friends? Was that Amy Smart?
No.
Yeah.
No, Anna Faris, I think.
I don't think it was
No,
Amy
I think it was Amy
Can you
Smart.
look it up while I talk about
I sure
the rest
can.
of this?
And also, she's got that Breckin Meyer connection, who's my brother who isn't related to me. So we look alike.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It
And
was
we
Just
also
Friends.
have... Wow, she is...
Yeah,
it
I
is
thought
her?
so.
Wow.
That's what I
I
liked her
haven't seen
from.
that movie in so long. I can't believe I forgot that. A couple other things. We had new episodes this week of Gotham. Last week's was so much better. I got to say, last night's episode of Gotham was woof.
Was it the?
I love
the
the show so much.
ventriloquist
Last
up?
week was the best episode ever. This episode, yeah, with the ventriloquist, it was like, why are we doing this? Oh my God, I'm going to gouge my eyes out. Doom Patrol, we got our 3rd episode today. Are you caught up on episode 3 or are you only on 2?
I was studying for a while, so I couldn't get to it, but I finally got to it. I did 2 episodes. My God, is that show
Episode 2 is my
awesome.
favorite of the
Really?
3 so far. The show is amazing.
You didn't like Cyborg? I love his cockiness.
What do you mean I didn't like
You guys came in
Cyborg?
there, it was like, is he big enough? Is he this and that?
I'm sorry, Adam just said
I said
I
that.
lump you two
Don't
together.
you guys,
Sorry, you're
me?
inside the table.
I love him. He is not as big as Ray Fisher. He's not as big as Cyborg typically is portrayed, but I love his cockiness.
Yeah, he was like the hero.
And I've seen episode 3, so I got to see a lot more
where
of
he
him.
came in
was
as like,
great.
my dad thinks I can be ready for the Justice League.
I would
I'm
like to apologize for calling man out about his height. That is not cool. I just saw it looked a little like you think of Cyborg and you think of this big kind of thing. I thought the guy played it really well.
I love just how they're going.
if he was
like,
a football player too, wouldn't you be like really large?
They're going like 70s, 80s. DC origins, like, Rita Farr falls in the water and she gets swallowed.
Yes.
I was like, that's
She's the
classic.
So you're
70s.
loving Doom Patrol.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
that
it's good.
I'm
show.
loving it. So it's my
I love
favorite
Titans
DC
though.
show right
I was
now.
on board with Titans, and now this
Doom Patrol's even better.
Every
Yeah.
show gets better.
Have we not
and better.
talked about this on here
We
before?
haven't seen you since then.
Yeah, I love it. I read an article in Forbes that they were like, Doom Patrol is dropping the ball because it's trying to be this, and that. I'm like, I don't see it.
Everyone-
I
It's
like
better
it.
than Umbrella
Everyone that
Academy.
I'm saying is saying Doom Patrol is the reason you should be buying the streaming service. They're like, Titans was good, it got there. Doom Patrol from the bat, they're saying buy the streaming service.
Completely agree, and I know we have to wrap right now, so I'll just say that we have all of the other CW shows that are coming back this week, so we'll have a ton to talk about
They
next
were
week.
off, yeah,
Yeah,
for-
they've been off for a little bit, but they will be back, Johnny.
All right, good to hear about Doom Patrol. I love me some Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's great. Somebody
great.
else is calling out
Matt
Doom
Bomer is amazing in episode 3.
Shazam trailer Monday. Somebody's calling about that. I could see that happening. So, well, hopefully by
On
next
what?
week we'll have
Just
a
the
new
internet?
Shazam. Well, I mean,
at
Captain
this
Marvel
point-
comes out next week, so
At this point,
it's
I
going
kind
to
of
be.
don't want to see anything. It's like I hear
I know,
hear
but it's
so
gonna
many
be-
teases about the Marvel family and the 7 deadly sins, but we haven't seen any of
Wait,
that.
that's coming from David F.
Breaking-
Sandberg right now.
Uh-oh.
Upload in progress. Trailer Monday. Shazam.
Breaking news, he just tweeted this like less than a minute ago.
Oh my God.
Hey now.
He's listening. That's why. Thanks, Dave.
All right. So there you go. Trailer coming Monday. Shazam.
That should be the final.
Wow, this is exciting. So this is, guys, we're here. In the next month, we're in the full promotion for
Yeah,
Shazam.
now it's gonna kick in.
And we just met a new friend of the show, and I'm really excited that we're going to have some exciting things that we're going to try to do this month to promote Shazam. We're going to try to do some different things on the show because we've got a little extra help maybe now. Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah. We got our boy Ryan. We'll tell you all about him.
I'm excited about some new things coming for the show. So if this is your starting point, this is like almost a good #1 issue of DC Movie News that we're all here for, I would
Yeah.
say.
Oh, are we new?
I feel like it's a new
52
volume.
right
We're-
now,
we're-
or what
I
are we-
wouldn't want to say rebirth.
Rebirth? We're Rebirth?
2016's rebirth, but now it's 2019 rebirth.
Yeah.
Rebirth!
You got 2 Shazams. I have nothing on.
That's right.
Don't do that to
okay.
your shirt, Roxy.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Just saying.
That's it, everyone. We're at DC Movies SK on Twitter, Facebook.com/DC Movies SK. Adam's right. We have some really cool stuff in the works, and we just want to keep building the show, and we have you to thank for it. So, Adam, put yourself over.
Hey guys, I'm Adam Gertler. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Adam Gertler. I'm happy to talk to you about movies, sausages, anything. Get a ninja foodie. I'll see you later.
Hey guys, Roxy Striar. You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar. I know there are tons of TV time news that we didn't get to, including Cisco and Caitlin talks to possibly leave Flash and other shows maybe not going on past next week. We'll talk about that all past next year. We'll talk about that all next week.
Mike Kalinowski. Find me at Mike Kalinowski. Check out the Schmodown Intergeek Championship drop today on YouTube. Reach out to me.
That's right, at Jay Quasto on all social medias. Let's see, I'm going to be in San Francisco, Sacramento doing comedy in a couple weeks. Chicago the weekend of March 21 to 23. And I'll be doing a few things for WrestleMania weekend in New York City and New York, New Jersey, New York, the whole area, whatever, the tri-state area. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We love you so much. See you next
From
week.
producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.